The unexpected encounter. The colony ship Resilience drifted gracefully through the void, its massive cylindrical frame housing 10,000 sleeping colonists bound for the Proxima Centauri system. Behind it, the small escort vessel Bastion maintained a watchful presence. At just 1/8 the size of the colony ship and featuring minimal visible armaments, the Bastion hardly seemed like adequate protection for humanity's most ambitious colonization effort to date. Commander Elara Rice stood on the Bastion's bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. Her weathered face, framed by a tight military cut of salt and pepper hair, reflected the blue glow of the tactical redouts. 20 years in Earth's unified defense force had taught her to trust her instincts, and right now, those instincts were screaming danger. "Something's not right," she murmured, more to herself than to her bridge crew. "Lieutenant Park, run another deep space scan. Extend range to maximum." "Yes, Commander," replied Park, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "But we've already run 3 scans in the last hour. The passage is clear, Toe." The bridge alarm cut him off, its harsh tone filling the command center. "Multiple objects dropping out of superluminal transit," called out Tactical Officer Aikida, her voice rising with urgency. "Commander, we have company." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a formation of 7 massive vessels, materializing against the backdrop of stars. Their hulls gleamed with an iridescent purple-black material unknown to human engineering, and their shapes, reminiscent of ancient Earth manta rays, spoke of an alien aesthetic entirely foreign to human design principles. "Analysis," Rice demanded, her voice calm despite the sudden acceleration of her heartbeat. 7 vessels, unknown configuration," reported Aikida, sizes ranging from 800 meters to 2.2 kilometers in length. "Energy signatures off the charts. They're putting out more power at idle than our reactors at maximum output." The largest vessel moved forward, its wings unfurling to reveal what were unmistakably weapon ports. "We're being hailed," Communications Officer Diaz announced, his voice tight. "Put it through," Rice ordered, squaring her shoulders. The view screen shifted to reveal a being unlike any humanity had encountered in its limited interstellar exploration. 6 eyes arranged in a circular pattern dominated a face covered in translucent violet scales. Multiple limbs moved with unsettling coordination behind what appeared to be a command console. "Attention unidentified vessels," the alien spoke, its voice translated through the ship's advanced linguistic systems. "You have entered territory claimed by the Vraxian Imperium. I am High Commander Zexrath, 7th tier of the Imperial Fleet. Identify yourselves and state your purpose." Rice stepped forward. "This is Commander Elara Rice of the Earth Unified Defense Force vessel Bastion, escorting the colony ship Resilience. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration and settlement. Our records show this sector as unclaimed space under the Galactic Commons Treaty." All 6 of Zextrath's eyes blinked in sequence, conveying what the translation software identified as amusement or derision. "The Vraxian Imperium recognizes no such treaty," the alien commander replied. "Your primitive databases are clearly outdated. This sector has been Imperial territory for the equivalent of 3 of your Earth years." Rice maintained her composure, though her mind raced through options. "We apologize for the misunderstanding. Our mission is peaceful. We seek only to establish a colony on a habitable world in the Proxima system." The alien commander's upper limbs made a gesture that the computer couldn't translate, but the dismissive intent was clear. "The Proxima system falls within our expansion zone. Your colony ship will surrender to Imperial custody. Your defensive vessel." Here, several of the bridge crew on the alien ship visibly reacted with what appeared to be amusement. "Will power down all systems and prepare for boarding." "And if we decline?" Rice asked, her voice level. The view screen expanded to show the full might of the Vraxian fleet. Their weapon ports glowed with energy that the Bastion's sensors could barely analyze. "Your vessel's defensive capabilities are insignificant," Zexrath stated, mandibles clicking in what could only be interpreted as disdain. Our preliminary scans show outdated propulsion technology, minimal armor plating, and weapon systems that would struggle to damage even our scout vessels. You have one of your Earth hours to comply, or we will disable your vessels and take them by force. The communication ended abruptly. For 3 seconds, silence reigned on the Bastion's bridge. Then Reyes turned to her crew. "Tactical assessment," she demanded. Lieutenant Commander Ikeda shook her head. "It's bad, Commander. Their technology appears to be at least 2 generations ahead of ours. Energy readings suggest shields far beyond our penetration capabilities, and their weapons." She paused, swallowing hard. "Their smallest vessel carries enough firepower to reduce the Bastion to component atoms." "Options?" Reyes asked, moving to the central tactical display. Strategic Officer Rodriguez stepped forward. "We could attempt to negotiate. Offer trade concessions, technological exchange." "They've already scanned us," Reyes interrupted. "They know exactly what level of technology we possess, and they're not impressed." "What else?" "We could run," offered Navigation Officer Chen. "The Resilience can't match our speed, but we could distract them, leave them away while the colony ship makes for the nearest UDF outpost, and abandon 10,000 colonists." "Not happening," Reyes stated firmly. She studied the tactical display, her expression revealing nothing of the storm brewing in her mind. "What about Protocol Omega?" The bridge fell silent. Several officers exchanged uneasy glances. "Commander," Ikeda said carefully, "Protocol Omega is untested in actual combat scenarios. The simulations were promising, but deploying it against an actual alien fleet is exactly what it was designed for." Reyes finished. "Begin preparations. Lieutenant Park, establish a secure channel to the Resilience. Captain Okafor needs to be briefed." As her crew scrambled to their tasks, Reyes moved to the viewport, studying the alien vessels with narrowed eyes. Their arrogance was understandable. By all conventional metrics, the human ships were hopelessly outmatched. But conventional metrics didn't account for humanity's most closely guarded secret. 20 minutes later, the bridge of the Bastion was transformed. Hidden panels had opened to reveal specialized control systems. The ship's power distribution had been reconfigured, with life support and non-essential systems reduced to minimal levels. At the center of the bridge, a previously concealed chamber had risen from the floor, housing a device that defied conventional understanding of physics. The quantum displacement array, codenamed Void Whisper, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement and its most terrible weapon. Developed in secret after the devastating Europan incident, the QDA was humanity's insurance policy against technologically superior threats. "Commander," came Diaz's voice, "we're being hailed again." Reyes nodded. On screen, Zexrath appeared, all 6 eyes narrowed in what the translation software identified as impatience. "Your time expires, human. What is your decision?" Reyes stood tall, hands clasped behind her back. "We've considered your demands, High Commander. Unfortunately, we must decline." A sound emanated from the alien commander that needed no translation. Pure derision. "You refuse. With what means do you intend to resist? Your vessel's defensive capabilities are barely sufficient to repel micrometeorites, let alone Imperial weaponry." "About our ship," Reyes said, her voice taking on a conversational tone that contrasted sharply with the tension of the moment. "I couldn't help but notice your amusement at its apparent limitations." "Observation is not amusement, Commander," Zexrath replied. "It is simply fact. Your vessel represents no threat to us." Reyes allowed herself a small smile. "An interesting assumption. You see, High Commander, humanity has learned through bitter experience that appearing weak can be advantageous when surrounded by predators." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across the alien commander's features. "Prepare to be boarded, human. Your defiance is noted, but meaningless." "One last thing, High Commander," Reyes said as the view screen began to fade. "Humanity sends its regards." The silent thunder. The Vraxian fleet moved with precise coordination, spreading into an attack formation that would have been beautiful were it not so deadly in its intent. The largest vessel, Zexrath's flagship Imperial Dominance, maintained position at the center, while the others created a hemisphere of overwhelming firepower directed at the human ships. On the Bastion's bridge, Commander Rice watched the display with outward calm that belied the tension coiling within her. "All personnel in position," reported Executive Officer Hammond. "Quantum stabilizers at nominal. Displacement matrix charged to 87% and rising." "Time to full charge?" Rice asked. 3 minutes, 40 seconds, replied the science officer. Dr. Catry, her eyes never leaving her specialized console. "Commander, I must again emphasize that we've never deployed the QDA against actual targets. The theoretical models suggest." "I've read the models, Doctor," Rice interrupted gently, "and I understand the risks. But those colonists represent our future, and I'll be damned if I let an alien empire take them without a fight." The tactical display flashed a warning. "Energy buildup detected across all Vraxian vessels," Ikeda announced. "They're powering weapons." Lances of brilliant purple energy erupted from the alien vessels, streaking toward the Bastion and Resilience. Rice gripped the edge of the tactical display, her knuckles white. "Brace for impact," she called. But the expected devastation never came. Instead, the energy beams seemed to warp and distort as they approached, bending away from the human vessels as if deflected by an invisible shield. "What just happened?" Hammond demanded, turning to Dr. Catry. The scientist was smiling now, her eyes alight with vindication. "The QDA's passive field is functioning exactly as theorized. The quantum displacement effect is subtle but sufficient to shift incoming energy weapons slightly out of phase with our reality." "In English, Doctor," Rice requested, though she too was smiling now. "They can't hit us," Chatry simplified. "Not with energy weapons, at least. Physical projectiles would still pose a threat, but the Vraxians favor energy weapons exclusively," finished Rice. Their cultural documentation in the Commonwealth archives was quite thorough on that point. The view screen activated without prompting, showing Zexrath's face contorted in what could only be shock. "What trickery is this?" the alien commander demanded. "Your vessel possesses no shield technology." "Not shields, High Commander," Rice corrected. "Something altogether different. Displacement matrix at full charge, Dr. Catry." 100%, Commander. Array is ready for activation." Rice turned back to the screen. "High Commander Zexrath, the Unified Defense Force offers you one opportunity to withdraw your fleet and recognize this sector as neutral space under the Galactic Commons Treaty." The alien commander's shock transformed into rage. "You dare to make demands? Whatever technological surprise you've concealed, it cannot stand against the full might of an Imperial battle group. We will destroy your vessels and study the wreckage to uncover your secrets." Rice sighed. "I expected as much. As a point of professional courtesy, I should inform you that we're about to activate our primary defense system. You may wish to record what follows. It would make a valuable addition to your Imperial archives." She turned away from the screen, facing the glowing chamber at the center of the bridge. "Dr. Catry, activate the Void Whisper." The scientist's fingers moved across her console, initiating a sequence that had been theorized, tested, and refined over years of secret development, but never before deployed in actual combat. "Quantum displacement array active," she reported. "Phase 1 initiated." A barely perceptible tremor ran through the Bastion as the QDA powered up. On the view screen, Zexrath was barking orders to his crew, presumably to intensify their attack. "Phase 2 engaged," Chatry continued, "creating quantum entanglement field." Outside the viewport, space itself seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from sun-baked asphalt. The effect was subtle at first, then increasingly pronounced as the displacement field expanded. "Field stabilized. Ready for Phase 3 on your command," Chatri announced, her voice now solemn. Rice took a deep breath. Execute Phase 3. Dr. Chatri pressed a final sequence of commands, initiating quantum displacement cascade. For one heartbeat, nothing seemed to happen. Then, silently and without visible effect, the lead Vraxian vessel, a sleek destroyer positioned at the vanguard of their formation, simply ceased to exist. One moment it was there, a triumph of alien engineering bristling with weapons. The next, it was gone, leaving not even debris to mark its passing. The bridge of the Bastion was utterly silent, the crew staring in collective awe at what they had just witnessed. Target displaced, Chatri reported, her clinical tone failing to mask her own astonishment. Quantum signature indicates successful transfer to pocket dimension Alpha 47. On the view screen, chaos had erupted on the Vraxian flagship's bridge. Officers rushed between stations, mandibles clicking in what must have been alarm, while Zek's wrath demanded explanations from his crew. "What have you done?" The alien commander finally addressed Rice, his multifaceted eyes wide with fear that transcended species barriers. "Exactly what I said we would do," Rice replied evenly. "We activated our defense system. Your vessel hasn't been destroyed, High Commander. It's been relocated to a pocket of space-time separate from our own universe." "Impossible," Zek's wrath hissed. "Such technology violates fundamental laws of physics." "Perhaps your understanding of those laws is incomplete," Rice suggested. "The quantum displacement array is capable of targeting each of your remaining vessels with the same effect. Your entire fleet could be removed from this reality with nothing more than a few keystrokes." She let that sink in before continuing. "But we are not conquerors, High Commander. We are explorers and colonists seeking peaceful coexistence. Even now, I offer you the opportunity to withdraw and recognize our right to establish our colony." The alien commander's posture had changed subtly, the earlier arrogance replaced by wary respect. "You could have deployed this weapon immediately," he observed. "Why the warning? Why the offer to withdraw?" "Because unlike your Imperium, we don't believe might makes right," Rides answered. "We developed the QDA as a deterrent, not as a means of conquest. We will use it if necessary to protect our people, but we would prefer peaceful resolution." For several tense moments, Zek's wrath was silent, his alien features unreadable to human eyes. Finally, he spoke. "Your technology is unprecedented. If you speak truly, and this is merely a defensive measure, perhaps there is room for reconsideration." His mandibles clicked rhythmically. "I will withdraw my fleet to the boundary of this system, pending consultation with the Imperial hierarchy." Relief flooded through Reyes, though she maintained her professional demeanor. "A wise decision, High Commander. And what of our colonization rights?" "The Proxima system," Zek's wrath seemed to struggle with the concession, "may be considered open to your settlement, under certain conditions to be negotiated." "We look forward to those negotiations," Reyes replied. "As a gesture of good faith, we will return your displaced vessel once your fleet has withdrawn to the agreed boundary." The alien commander's posture straightened. "The Imperium will remember this encounter, Commander Reyes. As will humanity, High Commander. I suggest we both ensure those memories reflect the beginning of peaceful relations rather than conflict." The communication ended, and the Vraxian fleet began a slow, dignified withdrawal, maintaining formation but powering down their weapon systems. As tension on the bridge gradually dissipated, Lieutenant Park turned to Commander Reyes. "Do you think they'll honor the agreement? Or will they return with a larger force once they understand our technology better?" Reyes watched the retreating alien vessels thoughtfully. "They'll be back, Lieutenant. Not necessarily as enemies, but they'll be back. We've changed the equation. Up until today, they assumed technological superiority gave them the right to claim whatever they wanted." She moved to the viewport, gazing out at the stars that humanity was just beginning to reach. Today they learned that appearances can be deceiving, and that sometimes the most devastating weapons come in unassuming packages. Hammond joined her at the viewport. The void whisper performed beyond expectations. When word of this reaches Earth, it won't, Rice stated firmly. Not the full details, at least. The existence of the QDA remains classified at the highest level. Official reports will indicate that diplomatic negotiations succeeded in resolving the conflict. But the Vraxians know, Hammond pointed out. They'll tell others. Rice smiled then, a genuine expression that transformed her stern features. Exactly. Let the stories spread through their channels. Let the galaxy hear about the humble human vessel that faced down an alien armada and won without firing a conventional shot. Let them wonder what other secrets we might be hiding behind our primitive technology. She turned back to her crew, her expression now serious. Signal the Resilience to continue on course to Proxima. Our mission remains unchanged. We'll establish the colony as planned, but we'll do so knowing that we've just changed humanity's place in the galactic community. In the weeks that followed, as the human ships continued their journey to Proxima Centauri, rumors spread through the space lanes of the galaxy. Stories of a deceptively simple human warship that had faced a Vraxian battle group and emerged victorious. Of weapons that defied understanding, capable of making entire vessels vanish without trace. The details varied with each telling, growing more fantastic with distance, but the core message remained consistent. Underestimate humanity at your peril. And in the silent depths of space, the Bastion continued its vigilant escort of the colony ship, its unassuming profile concealing the power that had earned humanity its first true respect among the stars.